It's fall, y'all. So excited that it's almost October, one of my favorite months of the year. It still feels a little like summer here in North Carolina, but we hope for some cooler weather soon. I'm ready for some sweaters. Hey, I wanted to come and make a little vlog just to talk to you personally. I wanted you to see my face and hear my voice as I'm talking about a little shift that's going to happen here on my website and on my blog. And because you are part of the community, it's really, really important to me that you know where we're going and where I'm coming from. And so I wanted just to pop in here and to talk to you just a little bit. In the last year, there has been a big shift going on in my heart. And it's really happened, I think, for two big reasons. Things that you've been seeing about and hearing about in the news and or that are topics in the news. One is that I've been part of a group that is a racial reconciliation group. We are working through a curriculum you've heard me mention here on the blog by Dr. Lucretia Berry called What Lies Between Us. It has been transformational to me to be part of a racially diverse group that is talking about some of the issues and problems in our culture. The other culture war that you know that has been going on is kind of around the hashtag Me Too movement. But what I've been really, really pleased to see is strong female Christian voices entering into this conversation and bringing godly biblical perspective. I am particularly thankful and want to give a shout out to Beth Moore. Oh my goodness, y'all. She's doing such an amazing job, I believe, representing Jesus well and also just standing strong for women. So these two things have been stirring in my heart. Now, it's interesting because I feel like this is a resurrection in my heart of sorts. When I was a little girl, I was such a crusader. I mean, I was just so passionate about all things justice. And but at that point in my life, I really, really loved my own opinion and what was going on in my own head. So instead of having a godly voice in these conversations when I was young, I had a very loud voice, a very shrill voice, a very debate you down kind of voice. Well, when I was in high school, God started showing me that my opinion really counts for about this much. And really what I needed to know was His thoughts and His ways, that those were the things that I needed to seek, and those are what counted. So for a long time, I was silent, and I was silent because God was doing a work in my heart. He was stripping me down in good ways, and He was teaching me His thoughts and His ways. And then I was silent for a long time for the wrong reasons. I was really silent because I'm part of a culture. Hey, we Christians, we've developed our own culture. I was part of a culture that was becoming more and more divided along party lines and along issues lines, and it was just too sticky and messy and yucky for me. And I was silent because I didn't want to be part of that. But God is bringing me into a place where I'm feeling that it is important for us who love Jesus, who exist in the messy middle rather than these polarizing extremes. Those of us who believe in biblical truth, it's time for us to start using our voice. And can I just share with you, this is not a place where I'm going lightly. I have been wrestling with this for months. In fact, I've been wrestling with God for months. I had a conversation with Sherry Gregory and Kathy Lip about 6 weeks ago, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. It's ugly. It's messy. People shoot at you in this space. And so just know that I sort of know what I'm getting into. But y'all, just God is doing such amazing things in my own heart and teaching me such amazing things I just have to share with you. So here's where we're going, and I've been hinting at this. The new tagline for the ministry, and you'll be seeing this transitioning slowly in the look of the website and all of that. But the new tagline for what God is calling me to is tender hearts, strong voices. And what I am feeling called to do is not to tell anybody what to think or how to vote or any of that. So if you're scared of that, that's not what's happening here. What I want to do is I want to lead us here on the website and on my social media accounts from a half a step ahead. Now, this is a very uncomfortable place for me. You know, for the past however many years, I feel like I've been leading from 10 steps ahead, talking about building deeper friendships, building deeper relationship with God, and also breaking up with perfectionism that destroys those relationships. So I've been leading from a place where I'm teaching you things and writing about things that I've experienced for a long time. That's not the case here. And so I have to ask you for some grace because I'm going to be sharing as I learn. And that's scary for me because there's so much more room for error. So will you bring some grace when you open blog posts every week? Would you extend that for me, and I'll extend it to you too. So we're gonna do a process, and first we're gonna work on tender hearts. I think this is so key, and I'm gonna be doing blog posts, a series over however long it takes, to talk about how do we develop a tender heart first. And there are two parts I believe that God has shown me about developing a tender heart. And it's number one, that we listen. We listen to God and we listen to others, and we'll be working through all that. What's that like? Number two is to feel. Now, don't get scared here, because I understand that the heart is deceitful above all things. So don't get scared. But what I have realized is I have shut down my emotions to even watching the news and all kinds of things in ways that are unhealthy. That in not feeling the pain of people who are suffering, that it's allowed me to be silent. So we're going to talk about what does it look like to open our emotions back up in a godly way so we can engage and connect with people who are suffering, that it's important that we use our voice for them. And then once we talk about how to develop those tender hearts, then and only then we'll start talking about how to develop a strong voice. And when I say a strong voice, you may say, well, I don't need a strong voice. I don't have anybody to talk to. Sure you do. You've got your kids, you've got your neighbors, you've got the other members of your church. You have all kinds of people in your community that need to hear your voice. And then so the two steps for developing a strong voice is, first we're going to talk about jumping in and doing some things. So we're not all talk, that we're involved, that we're engaged, that we're being part of the solution in our communities. And then finally, we'll talk about speaking. And really, I'm going to do this very, very carefully, but I'm watching some of my friends who are entering into these conversations with so much wisdom and so much grace and such tender hearts. And I'll probably let you hear from some of them. Now, can I just tell you and confess right now that I am a reluctant advocate. This is not a space that I'm comfortable with, but it's a space that I feel called to. And here's what's going to be our goal here on the blog, is that we would learn here together, me from one step ahead, sharing with you and listening to you as you comment, is that we would learn together how to engage our community on important issues with biblical truth. With biblical truth, that's going to be the goal. So here's what it's not going to be. This is not going to be a political platform. And it's not going to be a place where we just air our own opinions willy-nilly. This is going to be a place where we examine Scripture and what Scripture might have to say, how it's speaking into some of these important issues. And it's also going to be a place for respectful dialogue to happen. Now, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in my next vlog to you that will come out next week. What does it look like to have respectful dialogue? Because I don't think we have a lot of that modeled for us right now. We don't want this to be a polarizing place. We want this to be a place where we learn and grow. So this is where we're going. I'm excited that you're here with me. I wanted you to hear it from me because I know that there could be some nervousness about where I'm going. If you have any questions at all, would you just ask them down in the comments? And would you keep it just dialogue, respectful, curious, not furious, it's the way my friend Sherry says it. And if you have any questions at all about where I'm going or what I'm thinking, you can ask me anything. I'll see you here next week.